What is up, everyone? Today we are going to be looking at the Sacred Order and some of the different helpful rares that we can find within the Sacred Order. So to start it out, we've got a bit more than we had last video, and we are going to start with none other than the starter champion, the one I went with on this account, Aethel. Now Aethel has an A1 that attacks 3 times, books up to 100% chance of putting Weaken on the target for 2 turns. Phenomenal for any boss fight, any content really, because Weaken just means you're going to be dealing that much more damage. Her A2 attacks all enemies, has a 15% extra chance of inflicting a crit, so you only have to worry about building her up to 85% crit damage if you're planning on that being your nuking ability. Though the A1 can hit pretty hard for a rare as well. And then her A3 puts increased attack for 2 turns, puts increased defense if her HP is below 50%, and then grants an extra turn. So because of the fact that she is an attack-based champion, she's going to buff her attack to begin with. It is on a 4-turn cooldown, putting it down to a 3 with the extra turn, in line with this A2. So you've got plenty of options, and she's got a health aura for all battles, a general 15%, so not bad at all. Next up on the list is going to be none other than, if I can find where he is, we're going to jump all the way down to Templar. Templar attacks an enemy, has a 30 books up to 50% chance, putting decreased speed, the bigger version, for 2 turns. Damage is based on defense, so he can be a bit tankier, and he can slow people down with that A1. His A2 attacks 4 times at random, has a 25 books up to 50% chance of placing Revoke for each hit, and puts block damage on this champion for 1 turn. So what that means is he's going to have the potential of provoking people, and then he'll have block damage, so hopefully when they attack, he won't take any damage. 4 turns at random, 50% chance. If you're just facing a single boss, like let's say the Magma Dragon, is a good way to provoke. And then he has his passive where attacks with this champion's default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff on this champion. So right there, anytime he gets debuffed, he's going to go in and he's basically going to have a chance for them to get put under a decreased speed, slowing them down. And then he's got a resistance arena in the battle, and a resistance aura in arena battles by 50. So for early game, considering the fact that a lot of early game players don't understand how accuracy works, or just being able to get some extra accuracy, right there with this aura he's already at 90, meaning they have to have over 100 about 100 accuracy to debuff him. Could be useful, but then again you might want to keep his resistance low so that that passive kicks in and he's putting in that decreased speed. From there, we are going to hop over to none other than War Priest. War Priest is a guaranteed rare you get by completing the first 7 stages, or first 7 levels on the campaign. Now, she's an interesting one. Her A1 has a small chance, it's only a 25% chance of freezing, but when that kicks in, it can throw enemies for a loop. Her A2 heals a target ally by 20% of their max HP, and then heals all allies except that target by 10% of their max HP. So a decent heal, not exactly huge, but for the beginning she can provide you some healing for starting your account. And then her A3 puts increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. As a beginning champion, she can help you get through those first couple of stages, especially if you don't have a promo code that provides you with some sort of support champion who's going to help your team stay alive. She's very useful for that. Next up, we are going to hop over to Mother Superior. Now Mother Superior, her A1 has a 35% chance putting decreased attack for 2 turns. Her A2 is going to heal an ally by 30% of this champion's max HP. What that means is if you build her very, very tanky with a lot of HP, she is going to give a very hefty heal. So if you manage to get her up to, let's say, 50,000 HP, that is going to be a 15,000 HP heal. And then places a shield buff equal to any surplus heal for 2 turns if the target is fully healed, which is phenomenal because it basically means that if you heal them more than they're able to be healed, that heal is not wasted at all. It is then turned into a shield. And then her A3 puts a continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns, and then places a shield buff equal to 10% of the target's HP on all allies for 2 turns if their allies' HP is full. So even if they're full HP and they're not going to really benefit from the continuous heal, they'll still have a shield that will be useful. And then she has a ally speed in all battles by 13%. Speed is key in this game. It's going to allow you to move faster. It's going to allow you to go through and actually do stuff. It's more turns means more debuffs, more time that the skills can cycle through. So this is a aura that I would recommend using in almost all of your fights unless you have a better one. From there, after Mother Superior, we are going to hop over to Justiciar. Now Justiciar, his A1 attacks an enemy, increases his defense by 3% up to 10 times in 1 round. So he can gain up to another 30% defense just by using that A1. His A2 attacks an enemy, has a 50, books up to 75% chance of placing Provoke on a target for 1 turn. It's on a 2-turn cooldown though. So every other turn you could theoretically be provoking someone. And then has his passive, which is when this champion is hit with a critical hit, counterattacks using their default skill and decreases the buff's duration on the target by 1 turn. So anytime he's hit with a crit, he's going to come back and hit them. He's going to increase his defense, and then he is going to decrease their buff duration. So right there, you can build him as a tanky guy and throw him into, for example, Arena, where everyone's going to try to crit. When it comes to actual like PvE content, most of the champions that you'll face will only have like a 15% crit rate, and so they're not as likely to crit. But in some cases, when that big heavy crit comes through, he's going to counterattack, and basically means that the enemy is going to take some sort of loss based on the fact that they managed to crit. And then he gives him ally defense by 90% in faction crips. So right there for your faction wars, he's giving you a good solid increase of defense. So right there, last but not least, definitely not Harrier, is going to be Draconis. Now Draconis, we attack an enemy once and heals the ally with the lowest HP by 7.5% of the damage inflicted. He is an HP nuker, and so with that, he's going to be keeping whoever the squishiest person at the moment is alive by healing them by a little bit. His A2 puts a shield on all allies equal to 15% of this champion's max HP. We love it when it's this champion. Once again, you build him really, really tanky, a lot of HP. It's going to increase how much damage he does on the A1, and he's going to give them a shield equal to 15% of his max HP. Phenomenal. And then his A3 attacks an enemy, removes all debuffs from the ally with the lowest HP, and then heals them by 25% of the damage inflicted. So right there, his whole kit is mainly focused on keeping whoever is the lowest health at the moment alive. Now, with it being HP based, he's very easy to keep alive for a rare at least. And that would be our rares. Now I am going to make an honorable mention. I'm going to hop down and look at 2 uncommons actually. First one being Outlaw Monk. Now why, you might ask? Well, his A1 attacks an enemy, books up to a 25% chance of granting an extra turn. Why is that useful? Well, it says A2. Places 2 5% poison debuffs on the target for 2 turns. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. That there, he is one of few uncommon and even rare champions who has at least 2 of the big versions of poison. Phenomenal for Dragon, for Ice Golem, for Clan Boss. When I start a new account, I am constantly checking the marketplace to see when he pops up, and I will buy him right away. For a lot of starting Clan Boss teams that I've run, it's not surprising to have 1 or 2 Outlaw Monks on the team, just because he is a phenomenal way to poison the Clan Boss. And by getting that extra turn, it just drops him into getting this foul play a lot faster. And then, last but not least, we are going to look at Armiger. Armiger. His A1, attacks an enemy, decreases the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. Very easy right there. You build him with 100% crit rate, and now every time he A1s, anytime he counterattacks, anytime he joins for an ally attack, he's going to decrease their turn meter by 30%. Phenomenal for Fire Knight, for Dark Fae, for any content where you just want to make sure someone doesn't go right at that moment. And then his A2 attacks an enemy. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. Phenomenal. He's great for Ice Golem, where you're looking at potentially having those helpers for the boss revive every time he takes so much damage. It's a good way of getting rid of those for good. It's phenomenal in the arena where you can kill a champion and you don't have to worry about them having a reviver. It's also an enemy max HP skill. So for bosses, it is phenomenal, because the damage is going to be based on not just his defense, but enemy max HP. So you build him with 100% crit rate, a ton of crit damage and accuracy, and he will go through and he will keep people's turn meters down, and anytime he hits a boss, he will take out a good solid chunk. I have mine on my main account built in a destroy set, and he goes against the Scarab boss, the Scarab King, and is one of the most effective ways of killing that shield. So that is who we're going to look at as easy champions who are rare, and in this case also uncommon, who are able to help early, mid, even potentially some endgame content where you need it. As always, if you have any champions that I skipped over, or if you've used any of the champions and you really like them, let me know in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. As always, we're trying to get to 50 subscribers currently, so if you could like and subscribe, we would love to have you here. As always, keep raiding. We'll see you around.